Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I'm going to be talking about my review for Bash in Berlin, which is WWE's next premium live event. That always feels weird to say. Taking place from Berlin, Germany, which is very interesting. It's their first time going to Germany and having a pay-per-view. I think they've had live tours there more than a couple times, so that's interesting. But yeah, this show was... I don't know what to call this show. It was entertaining, but it also kind of felt like filler. I'll get into it right now. What in the world? I hope you all can hear that, because that's hilarious. Now you stop. Anyway, we start off our night of action with the WWE Undisputed title match as Cody Rhodes defends against Kevin Owens. They start out nice and respectful, shaking hands, and they pretty much put each other through all-out war. This was a sheer battle between two competitors. There were multiple points, though, that are interesting that Kevin Owens decided against doing something. So he had Cody Rhodes all set up for the powerbomb on the apron. Instead, he lets Cody Rhodes slide out of his grasp, throws him back into the ring, hits a stunner, only gets a 2 count, goes for the pop-up powerbomb, that gets countered by Cody, who hits a Crossroads, only gets a 2 count. Then Kevin Owens hits a stunner, goes up, goes for the Swanton Bomb. That gets blocked. Cody with a couple more Crossroads to pick up the win and retain his title. So, match itself was interesting. Two baby faces going at it. I am surprised we didn't see Kevin Owens turn heel, although I think that's going to be the plan moving forward. As we see Kevin Owens trying to lift up... Cody Rhodes post-match lifting up Kevin Owens' arm in good sportsmanship. You kind of see Kevin Owens just looking down. Like he's ashamed he couldn't get the job done. I do think Kevin Owens is going to be Cody's next challenger. And he might be heel. So, we go... Overall, very fun match. Very entertaining for a couple of baby faces. Now we move into the women's tag team title match as Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair get their rematch against the unholy union of Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. Fire and Dawn actually gained the tag team titles at Clash at the Castle, where they were in a triple threat. They pinned the other team to gain these titles. So this is Jade and Bianca's rematch. And honestly, this was just a little bit awkward. Not to say it wasn't good. Fire and Dawn and Bianca definitely had some chemistry. It was Jade. Jade Cargill looked a little bit awkward out there. I don't know what it was, but she just didn't look right. Anyway, Fire and Dawn try for a big old roll-up. That only gets a 2 on Bianca. Jade then comes in, and she and Bianca hit the double team move of the DDT into the suplex to pick up the win and regain the titles. I'm a little sad Fire and Dawn got such a short reign, but this is probably going to be building to Jade Bianca breaking up as a tag team, which is probably for the best. Overall, an enjoyable match for what it was, but I think this could have been better served on a Raw or SmackDown. Next up is the worst stipulation match of all time. It is the Touch Four Corners strap match. Now, rules of this match are pretty simple. You are attached to your opponent by the wrist via a big old long leather strap. It is no DQ. However, the way you win is no pinfall, no submission, no DQ, but you go over and touch the four corners of the ring in order. AKA Red Rover. And the icing on the cake, the newest innovation of this match, on every corner is a red light and a green light, signifying who's touched the corner. I absolutely hate this. Anyway, so before the bell rings, Drew McIntyre attacks CM Punk from behind, including hitting Punk with the strap a number of times. Eventually, Drew puts the strap on his wrist. Referee is talking to Punk. And then Drew picks Punk up, puts the strap on his wrist, and then they just start beating each other up. One point, Punk hits the GTS, including a couple of strap attacks. Looks like he's going to go to touch the first turnbuckle, but decides not to, goes back to beating Drew. You see a couple of times where one of the opponents is on the outside of the ring, so the other opponent drags him into the apron. That's always good. And then you got the usual spots of touch corner, touch corner, touch corner. Other opponent blocks it. Drew pretty much has Punk beat. He goes for the fourth turnbuckle. Punk hangs on for dear life. Starts a complete and utter beatdown. Hits a GTS. 1, 2. Hits another GTS. 3, which is... I'm going to get to that in a minute. GTS again, and then Punk sees Drew wearing that bracelet that fan made him with AJ and his dog's name on it. Takes it back, puts it back on the wrist. 4. So your winner is CM Punk. I had a feeling Punk was going to win this matchup because it sets up for their rubber match. More than likely a Bad Blood in Hell in a Cell. Which, yeah, if there's any feud that deserves the Hell in a Cell treatment, it's this. And here's what I'm going to say about this match. It wasn't horrible. Did it kind of kill the momentum a little bit with the touch four corners stipulation? Yes. However, this was also a brutal beating. And definitely added to the feud. So, I'm definitely of two minds about this match. Then we get local celebrity Sebastian Heckel announcing the attendance for the show, which, very nice. And he does so in German, which, honestly, that's got to be a hard language to speak. Although, if you're German, that's your first language. So next up is a mixed tag team match player. As the Judgment Day, that's Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan, take on the Terror Twins. So that's Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. And at first, Liv and Rhea are in. Liv is trying everything she can to avoid Rhea. Eventually, Rhea gets her and just starts beating her down. Dominic eventually tags in, which means Priest has to tag in. There's no man-on-woman violence here, which I am definitely okay with. Eventually, the rest of Judgment Day gets... actually, Rhea was about to hit Dom with the Riptide. Liv saves him. Eventually, the rest of the Judgment Day come out, try to take out Rhea and Priest. Dom hits a 619 on Priest. Goes for the frog, hits the frog splash, only gets a 2. Tag back into Liv and Rhea. With Rhea pretty much beating down Liv for a bit. Liv goes for Oblivion, that gets countered. Rhea with a backbreaker has Liv ready for the Riptide, but Finn Balor comes in to distract Rhea. Judgment Day then sets up the announce table. Dom then takes out Priest ringside. And as Liv is distracted by this, Rhea comes up from behind. Bless me. From behind her, hits a clothesline, a headbutt, and a riptide to win the match for the Terror Twins. This was definitely a good storyline match. I do wish the Judgment Day weren't involved, but it did add to the emotion of the match. And, we'll see where it goes from here. And then that leaves us with our main event of the evening. And it's for the WWE World Heavyweight title as Gunther defends against the Viper, Randy Orton. And as Randy is making his entrance, the entire arena is just singing his song, which is... honestly, it's been a long time coming from Mr. Orton. I'm glad he is getting the recognition he deserves. Anyway, this match kind of starts off a little boring. A lot of rest holds, a lot of sleepers. But then it gets taken to another gear after the Gunther neck twist with his legs, which is always rough to see. Orton then fights back after a while, tosses him into pretty much everything, and then he starts targeting Gunther's arm, trying to render him incapable of hitting his finishers, which is very nice to see. They get back out in the ring. Orton hits a couple suplexes. Goes for the RKO. That gets blocked. Gunther tries to lock in the sleeper hold. That gets countered by Orton, who goes right back to the arm. A lot of really good back and forth with Orton after taking a little bit of a beating for a while with the eye poke, which that was interesting. Hits the draping DDT from the middle rope. Goes for the RKO. That gets countered by Gunther, who hits a big old suplex, a drop kick, into a splash for only a 2 count. He goes for what Michael Cole said was a powerbomb. It looked more like a pile driver, but Orton gets out of it, hits a big old clothesline. Orton himself goes for a powerbomb. That gets blocked. They're counting powerbombs left and right. Orton tries for the Alabama Slammer, but that gets blocked into a powerbomb by Gunther. That only gets a 2. Goes again for the powerbomb. That gets blocked into an RKO, only for a 2 count. Orton then goes to the outside, sets up the announce table. He then gets the ring steps, puts him kind of up against the announce table, and then hits his big suplex move into the steps onto the table. Orton then gets Gunther back in the ring. Goes for the RKO. That gets blocked. Gunther with the sleeper, but Orton fights out of it. But then Gunther gets him back in the sleeper hold. He doesn't let go. He hangs on. Orton tries for a headlock takeover. Gunther hangs on. Looks like Randy Orton then finally fights out of the move. Gunther with a big old chop to Randy's chest. Not only locks in the sleeper, but then does the hammer and anvil elbows, which is awesome to see Gunther implementing that move. Back into the sleeper hold. Randy Orton fights out again. Big old backdrop from Orton, but that leaves Gunther in position to kind of Frankenstein monster level come up, grab Orton, get him back down in the sleeper hold. Back to the hammer and anvil elbows. Sleeper hold until Orton just passes out. So your winner, still World Heavyweight Champion, the Ring General, Gunther. This match was everything I expected it to be. Randy Orton still absolutely has it. Gunther is the future of this business. I cannot wait to see what Gunther does in the near future, because he's destined for a long title reign. Overall, a very entertaining show, but like I said, this show mostly felt like a filler show. Like, it's definitely canon, but it doesn't feel canon, you know what I mean? But overall, had fun. Gonna give this show a thumbs up. Next premium live event for WWE is Bad Blood. That's gonna be in October. That should be a fun one. I can't wait to see what matches get added to that. We got Emergence coming up from TNA. NWA is slowly bringing out NWA 76, which is their anniversary show. There's a lot coming down the pipeline. I'm excited for absolutely everything. I hope you guys are too. So Friday, it's going to be my regular review show of Raw, NWA Power, and AEW Dynamite. Things then get a little complicated because this Friday, and this Friday only, SmackDown and Collision, that's both WWE and AEW, are going to be on at the exact same time. I don't know why Collision got preemptive and had to move, so I'm just going to have to be watching one or the other, which is a little sad, but you gotta understand. So, yeah, this should definitely be a fun one. Leave down in the comments or on Twitter which one you'd like to see me cover. Maybe there's a way I can watch the other show and include it in my review for Monday. Other than that, hope you all have a great week. Till next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.